Greetings everybody, AMR here, and today we're looking at North Carolina. This is a video response to Brandy regarding her question on positions. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to explain positions as well as give a little bit of a tour of this chart here. Now remember, one of a good principle is trust but verify. So this is North Carolina, January 21st, and the last results were 1/7/19/29/37. I actually had to go to Lottery Post and get the data because for some reason the update didn't work on Advantage Gold, or perhaps I didn't have the network on. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I did go there. So these are the numbers drawn. I entered the numbers in here. So let's say, and I got these red lines here for a little bit of clarity. So let's look at this drawing here. This is December 22nd, 2019, and these are the numbers 1, 3, 6, 25, 34, and here is the 1. All right, here's the 1 here. There's the 3. There's the 6. Over here is the 25, and over here is the 34. All right. Now, I'm going to move this down here, but so if you click on the 1, this is actually linked to this sheet here. This is where I enter in the data, and then you can see there's no formatting here. So I had to make another sheet here so I could format liberally, so I can see the patterns. So over here on the left is skips. All right, skip 1, skip 2, skip 3, skip 4, skip 5, skip 6. Meaning that this number 10 here. Well, let's go back to this 1. So the 1 here drawn, when it was drawn, its skip was 17, and you can see the 17 number here. So that's the same. This 3 here, the second number, and 2 is skip 2 over here. So if we bring this over here, let's see. Maybe I'll make another one. So let me copy this. Right click copy, right click paste. Okay, so now I got another one here. So that's skip 2, and that is number 0. You can see here is a 0 repeat. So basically that you go down the line like that, and this column here is the sum of the skips. So this SS means sum of the skips. So basically it's just a sum. And if I click on the formula bar here, you can see it takes a sum of these 5 numbers. And I don't really use that too much, but you can. It actually is good because you can if you highlight this, and then you can make a chart, and you can see the sums going up and down, which is similar to the sum chart in Advantage Plus, which I think is letter. Let me see. If I look at the menu, letter, I got the Advantage Plus open up on the other computer. So that would be Sum Tracking Chart F. So you can do that. And you can do bars, and you can do zigzags. So that's that part. Now this F5, it's front 5, front 4, rear 4. Now this has to do with the spread of the first number to the last number, right? So I'm using the Fibonacci number as a guide. So 21, and then plus or minus. All right, let me show you. Where am I here? 21, right? I highlighted this blue. So if I get this blue here, I put a blue and I mark it. So plus or minus 21 is 20 and 22. Okay. So in this particular drawing here with the 1, see this 1 here is drawn in the first position. And I'm not talking about first position coming out of the machine. I'm saying after the balls are drawn, you put them in order, and the 1 would be the first position number. The 3 is the second position number. The 6 is the third position number. The 25 is the fourth position number, and the 34 is the fifth position number. And of course, if you were playing a pick 6, then you would have an extra number, and that would be the 6th position number. And then pick 10, same thing. 7th position, 8th position, 9th position, 10th position, etc. Playing all or nothing, 11th position, 12th position. So the way this front 5 works, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm subtracting the number that's in the 5th position from, I'm sorry. I'm doing it in normal math. I'm subtracting the 1 that's in the 1st position from the 34 in the 5th position. And the way that looks, so if you click on the front 5, here's your formula, and there it is. 34, which is the blue box, minus the 1, which is the red box. Alright, so I'll just hit the X there, so I don't want to mess up the formula. And then the front 4, again, it's a 25 minus the 1. Now the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to catch 4 numbers. This is my original strategy. I'm trying to catch 4 numbers within this range. That was my guide. I did it a lot of times. When I missed my jackpot, I actually went out of the range to 24. But I was looking within the first range first, and I said, I don't see anything within that range. Let me expand it. So that's how that works. And then this one here is the fifth position number from the 2nd position number. Okay, and then I'm highlighting 20, 21, 22. 21 being a Fibonacci number, and also realize when I first was subtracting this, I was using the New York Take 5, and I didn't apply it. I didn't classify it as Fibonacci at the beginning. I just was highlighting different spreads and seeing which ones popped up more. Because you can see, here's the 24, I have it in green, I have the 25 in red. So you could feasibly, make a spread looking at the red, right? Now I can't do it here because I didn't have enough space. I actually had to enter in these cells and do it. But I could feasibly do it, and it could be done. And you can see there's kind of like a flag formation here. If you count the drawings from this red to red, right? If you count it, this is 5 drawings. From here to here is 12 drawings. That would be a dormant period. Here is 5 drawings. Here is 9 drawings. And now it's 10 drawings. So it would be another dormant period. But again, you start looking at so many things, you start, at least I start, overcomplicating things. You make things worse, basically. So whenever there's a blue here, I mark it. I mark the blue, and then I mark with the 0. If you were using the Gail program, she would mark this with the number sign. So this is a flag formation here. Okay. And I've mentioned in other previous videos the concept of the flag is where you find it. Now, I don't really like the term flag, but I'll have to make a totally separate video on how the flag is defined. But right now, okay, if you go back in time, looking at this particular flag here, and here it says U plus or minus. I don't know why it says U plus or minus. You shouldn't say that. Let me just delete that, because I don't remember what that means. Alright, so here's your flag here. And here's a classic flag. Right? 4, 1, 1, 1, and this would be hot and hitting. 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 2, 3, 1. And then you have a dormant period. So this particular pattern can go cold. I've seen it go cold as many as 25 games or more in New York. So you have to know what the long-term trend is, and that's hard to do. That's a separate chart which I haven't shared yet. That's like the last thing. That would be like the last chapter in the book. But for now, so you had a dormant period, and so here's your 1. Here's your blue 1 from the big, right? Come in reverse flag, 2, 1, 0, 2, 4. 2, 4 would be a flag. It's not a classic flag as it appears in the book as a 2, 5, but 4 is symmetrical to 2. And I'll get into why this is important in a couple seconds. Alright, so here you have a 0, 6. So 2, 4 is like a minimum flag, I guess you could say, and 0, 6 is a maximum flag. If you look back at the book at the flag formation, I'm not sure what page it is, she says look for skip 5 or 6, right? but I'm going to put in or 4. So 4, 5, 6 is your family of flags. All right. Now when the flag breaks down, it stretches out. So let's say, for instance, here you have 1, 9. You would be looking 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. That would be your first flag, your minimum flag, I guess you could say. 1, 5 would be your classic flag. 1, 6 would be your max flag. And now it's stretched out to 9. When the flag stretches out to 9, I always look for a hot skip. It's like I'm looking for, after it stretches, I'm looking for it to snap back, right? And the snap is in a hot skip. It doesn't always happen, but I'll use it as a power number. And I'll show you an example of it here in the drawing sense hit chart where that philosophy would have worked. You'd have had 3, 4. Well, here's your intermediate, and I call this an intermediate skip. So this would be your flag skip, and 7, 8, and 9 would be your intermediate. 10 would be your first cold period or dormant period. So here's the 9, and then it snaps back. So I would have used it as a power number. It skipped 0, 1, 2, 3, dropped it at 4. Over here the flag stretched out again, 2, 4, 9, and then I looked for it to snap back. And then there was a hot skip, and then 0, 0. So I always look for a hot skip, and if it doesn't get the hot skip, I usually drop it. That's like a rule that I've created for myself. So here you have another 3, 4, 1, 2. So it's like it stretches out and then the flag comes back. It stretches out and then the flag comes back. And the flag doesn't necessarily have to be 2, 5 all the time. You want to look for symmetry. In my opinion, symmetry is better than the flag because the 2, 5 is a cascade, right? It's going up. The skips are increasing. So once you start to get into 2, 5, it's dangerous. You'd rather have it with 2, 2, 2, and then that's it. Go to the next dormant period. Like for instance here you had 1 dormant period, and then you came in reverse at 6 games, and this is 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. So this is all symmetry because 3 is equal to 2 on the upside, 2 is equal to 1 on the upside, 1 is equal to 1, 2 is equal to 1 here on the 2 is equal to 1 here on the upside, and I would say 2 is equal to 0. Anyway, let's move on. So here's your symmetry: 4, 3, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 1, 1, 0, 0. All right, and then so this is a pure flag, and that's why I highlight all my flags as pink, because it's hot pink. It makes it stand out. I can see where the flags are. I can see there's a flag here in the drawing sense hit chart here, and here, even though this is an intermediate flag because it breaks down. But this would be a pure flag. There are no intermediate skips. You could use the limit of skip 6 as your wagering limit, right? If you know that it's a max of 6, then you would power up on 6 and hope it doesn't go to 7. Of course, it could go to 7, like over here. It would have been like 2, 3, 1, 6. And you said, okay, let me power up on the 6. It's going to be power up on the 5 here adjacent. Let me power on the 6, test it, and then you might drop it on the skip 7. But 7 is technically symmetrical to the 6 on the upside. 6 equals 6, 6 equals 7, and 6 would equal 8. If you go to 9 here, then you'd have to go and see the support up here. Does 9 equal 12, right? So how this works as far as trying to make this advantageous towards you for your strategy. All right, so here was the 2, 0. It stretched out to 8, and then it snapped back as a hot skip. Hot skip meaning skip 0, 1, 2, or 3. That's a separate class of families. A separate skip class. I'm breaking it down into 4 different skip classes. And that's how I'm organizing my skips. So you had the 1, 1, and here's the 8, right? So now 8, and now we're looking for the snapback. So I would technically look to I would look for that pattern to come in. So what I would do is I take one of these little red boxes that I have here. I'll bring it down, and this is how I mark what I'm looking at, because you're not going to remember this tomorrow. You might not even remember it tonight. So here I put a little red box here. I'm looking for the snapback on the spread. Remember, front 5, front 4, rear 4. So actually what I should put in here is I should put in, let me go to the top here and see. I'll put in SP, right? SP for spread, or I'll just put in spread. From the first number to the last number. Only trying to trap 4 numbers. That was the strategy. I was just trying to make money to play, right? Not necessarily trying to hit the jackpot, but you could get the jackpot in that spread. Like for instance here, if you look here in this particular drawing, from the first number, from the first number to from the first position number to the last position number, if you subtract it, wait, no, is that the subtraction? Where is it? No, the subtraction is over here. If you subtract it, all right, you get 22. So let's exit out. So where are we here? So from 12 plus 22 brings you to 34. Where's 34? It's over here. So look at the 34. The 34 is a 2-2, right? It's a 2-2 symmetry, and it's an adjacent. So you could even work backwards. You could even say, all right, I think that 34 will be my 5th position number. Let me minus 21 from it. Let me minus Fibonacci, right? That Fibonacci number. And that would bring you, if you minus 21, that would bring you to 13. And you can say, all right, do I like the 13 or do I like the 12? Which one do I like better? Or do I like the 14? Well, this would have been an adjacent also. It would have been a 4-4 symmetry. So that's one of the choices you have to make. But the thing what's interesting here though is that you see this is 3 dormant periods. So you can say, all right, I like this number because it's 3 dormant periods. So I'll play this one, 3-5. But this number here also is 3 dormant periods. And you can say, all right, I like the 4-4. And this is 4 dormant periods. So you can say, all right, I like the 2-6-1, and I think the 15 is going to repeat. But the 15 is out of the spread. But anyway, the point is that all 5 numbers have come within this spread. Now you're not going to get it all the time. You know, you have 24, you have 25, and that's why it's a 4-number strategy, because I know that you're not going to get 5 numbers in that spread all the time. However, you do see you had here back to back, but that's why it's a 4-number strategy and not a 5-number strategy. So let me go back down here to the beginning. And this may be a little bit of a long video, so I hope that you have time, or you might want to break this down into 2 segments. I'm doing this on the newer computer, so I shouldn't have any problems with the recorder. The longest recording I've done on this computer is an hour, but that's because you can set the time limit and it stopped. But this is not going to be an hour, I don't think. Alright, so I'm looking for this pattern. Now, the way I would do it, alright, so I've mentioned in previous videos, I think, is that the best numbers to repeat in my experience and from my observations is the first number, the first position number, meaning here. Whoops. That's my list of things to buy. Let's see here. This is the number 1, 3 dormant periods. So this would be the first position number. Now if this position repeats, that would be your first number. So I would use the Fibonacci sequence. Well, I would add 21 to the 1 and get 22, and that's where I would look for my 5th position number, or for my number to trap the 4-number trap. So where is this other guy here? So where's my 21? So the 21 is over here. Now you can see the 21 here is a dormant period. You had a skip of 48 here after 2 dormant periods. Now also mind you, this is 2 dormant periods, a skip of 48. When I was first starting, I did consider, okay, let's say you had since 24 could conceivably considered a dormant period, I could break this 48 into 2 dormant periods, 24 and 24. But they just got too confusing because you could, so that's why this is 2 dormant periods, even though it's way over the out average ratio that you would be looking for. So anyway, so you had a hot skip and then a 1, and now you have another dormant period here, skip 13. So that's 21. Now if you add 22, that brings you to 19. So 19 is increasing, which means that it's cascading out of the streak. And if you look over here, the 20, no, actually, wait, 21 minus 1, no, it would be the 23. So you look at the 23. Okay, so you could say, all right, 41007. So obviously this flag is stretching out. This 7 here, I generally don't like playing an upstroke. 07 is an upstroke, right? Cascade means you're going up, so it's an upstroke. So it's more simple to use the terms upstroke and downstroke instead of cascade and reverse cascade, because those are more confusing. So so that's the Fibonacci. That's my first look. Say, all right, so I'll look over here. This one looks pretty good. The 25. 25 minus 1 is 24, and you can see 24 happens a lot, right? 24, 24, 24. So I would go for the 25 here, because you have it's coming in reverse. 15 and 17 is your symmetry. 4 dormant periods is coming in reverse intermediate, right? And this blue here means reverse intermediate. Okay, so this is reverse intermediate. These pinks, or purple and white, mean reverse flags. So you can see reverse intermediate, reverse flag, and so that, and it's a hot skip. So I usually look at that. So I would say, okay, so if the first number repeats, the 25 would be the 5th number or your 4th number. And then basically I'm looking for numbers in between those two numbers. That is the strategy of how I use the positional numbers to repeat. Now, here you can see the 1 repeated in the first position over here, right? So using that logic, right? So what I just mentioned. So if you're looking for the 1 to repeat and you're looking Fibonacci, you bring it over here and you say, okay, so 1 plus 21 is 22. So where is my last number here? And so where's the other red bar? Did I lose the other? Here's the other red bar. All right, so we're going to go over here, and so what do you get here? Boom, right there. 17. All right. I'm not going to get into Q right now, but there you go, 17. So, and then if you use a 21, right, plus or 1 minus over here, 21 minus 1 is 20. So here is your 22 and 20, and here it's marked. Now what would have been tricky is that this flag formation on the spread is stretching out. It's an upstroke, and it's upstroke out of the flag. So it's an intermediate. It's cascading out. So generally I would play the 7. That's my rule. If I want to break my rule, I try to stay within the flag. But if I want to break the rule, I'll break it at 7, and I'll drop it at 8. Now 8 is also a Fibonacci number, so that's also something to consider, which I trying to be more observant of the Fibonacci numbers coming out in skips, and that's how I actually wheel my lines, right? So let's look for the Fibonacci sequence in the skips. It shows up, not all the time. I've seen it perfect, but let's see if we have one here. Okay, this one here. This one is pretty good. You have the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 5. So those are Fibonacci numbers. So generally when I wheel by skips. I don't pick numbers randomly. I pick numbers by skips. I look for a skip 0, I look for a skip 1, I look for a skip 2, I look for a skip 5. And now I'm trying to look for a skip 8 and a 13 more, and try to just focus on those. And it's really a waiting game. So here you didn't get the 13, but you got a 14. So you're plus 1 off of the Fibonacci number. And then there's probably more here. Okay, here's one again. Here, 0, 1, 2, and 13. So in the Lottery Master Guide, Gail says to focus on numbers within the last 5 games, meaning 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here you would have had the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 13 is a Fibonacci number. So right there, that's my strategy. So I'm using really the core of my strategy is the Fibonacci sequence in 2 dimensions. So you have it in the first dimension here, which is spread, right? Which is from left to right. And then the second dimension is in skips, or time, right? But more or less skips, because skips every day are faithful to the Fibonacci, but you can't use time for something like Powerball or Mega Millions, because one skip of 1 is equivalent to 3 days. So it's not time, but it could be time. So, but it's in drawing sense hit. So yeah, but it is time. Maybe that's why they put the Mega Million twice a week, so that way it's harder to apply the Fibonacci sequence to the game, because you're not looking at time per se. Anyway, I digress. So, getting back to the example here. Excuse me. So the first number repeats. This is the second number. This is the third number. This is the fourth number. This is the fifth number. Now that's going forward, you see, and that's why I have F5. F5 means front 5, forward 5. Now you can go the same in reverse. So this is reverse 4, right? Now it's not reverse 5, because reverse 5 would be the same thing as front 5, right? Just going backwards. So let's look at the fifth position. And it's interesting because the fifth position just repeated. Well, here it repeated over here. Okay, so the fifth position number in this game is the 43. Okay, so here's the fifth position. So you can do the same thing in reverse. So you take the 43, like I did over here. All right, let me put the formula in. So here's the 43 here, and whoops, no, I'm sorry. The 43. Where's my formula? Here's the 24. Okay, so you click on the formula, you subtract the 43 from the 19, and what do you get? You get the number is a 24. So, well, my first anticipation, my first look is always 21. 21 plus or minus 1, and I'm looking to see what's there. So, 21 would have been, now this is where my math in my head gets messed up. So let me see, 43 minus 10 is 33, minus another 10 is 23. So Fibonacci would be 22. So here's 22. And you see it's a 13, it's another Fibonacci. But this 25 is a long shot. This 22 is a long shot. These I don't chase long shots. I wait for the long shot to come in, and then I look for the hot skip. If you don't get the hot skip, you drop it. And you can see here the 21. Now, even though this is sidereal, meaning like a clock, 12, 24, 36, 120 degrees, 240 degrees, 360 degrees, it didn't come in until skip 48, right? Over here. And then you got the hot skip. So here, the 20 also didn't come in until skip 38. And I would have looked for a hot skip here. After the hot skip, if I missed the hot skip, and sometimes I would use it as a power number as a hot skip, but once the hot skip is done, I drop it. That's it. That's the rule that I play. And then the second period here, second dormant period, here's one dormant period. So this is one dormant period after a streak. There's some flag up here. So let's look at the flag real quick for the number 20. And here's your flag. And it's an intermediate flag, meaning it's stretched out, and here's your snapback. So go back down here. And so... so you would say, okay, I might have played the 22, right, as a Fibonacci spread, and then look for the numbers in between. And here's a number 26, a flag, and this is a reverse flag after one dormant period here. And this 19, you can see it also. It was a flag. It didn't flag. You see, 06 would have been the flag max. I mean the yeah, max, and it went to 7. But anyway. The fifth number repeated. That's the point. Okay, now, am I looking at the right place? Well, I think I'm looking at the wrong place. Because this is where it came in on the flag skip. Now, I got the stupid recorder is in my way here. So what is the skip here? It's an 8-5. So this is reverse. So I know the color blue here shows me that it's in reverse, which means this is the second hit after a dormant period up here, right? Because this is reverse intermediate. So this is a reverse flag. So like here, I know that there's a dormant period up here, and there's a dormant period up here, and that's what the color coding tells me. So I don't have to scroll up. And anyway, Brandy, if you got this long in the video, I'd like to see how you colored your chart, and I'll send you my email on the comment later when I'm done with this video. So actually, I should be here because this is the 5th number to repeat. So here the 5th number repeated, and the 3rd position number repeated. I need a candy. My throat is starting to bother me. I don't want to get up though. All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, interestingly enough, though, sometimes you'll have 2 numbers repeat in a particular drawing, and that's on a separate chart. This damn it, what's going on here? This PRC stands for Positional Repeater Chart. So I use the Positional Repeater Chart, and I'll usually cross-reference it with the Gail Howard's Advantage Plus or Gold Chart 5 Multiple Hit Pattern Chart. I look and see how the double hit ratio compares to the Positional Repeater Chart. Now, the Positional Repeater Chart looks really strong, and the Multiple Hit Pattern Chart is not giving me a smart pick. I'll override Chart 5 with the Positional Repeater Chart. Now, ideally, you want the Positional Repeater Chart and the Multiple Hit Pattern Chart, the double hit ratio, to be in sync. You want them to be the same. That would be a very, very, very strong point. A strong chart point would be a good time to play in a heavier amount of money, and that's relevant. I mean, that's relative. What a large wheel is. To me, a large wheel is $10, but the circles that I run in with, these people will play $10, $20, $40, $100. The largest wheel I think I ever did was a $40 wheel. And I didn't use the Gail Howard wheel, and that's probably why I didn't hit the jackpot, because I had a whole bunch of like retarded wheels with no guarantee, and I got the power number right. And anyway, that was jackpot number 2 missed. But at that point, I was building the Positional Repeater Chart. My first jackpot missed. There was no Positional Repeater Chart. I was just doing it totally intuitive, noticing that the first and second position number always repeat. So if we get back to here, so here, the first position repeated here. And over here, again, the first position number, well no, actually here, this is the second number position repeating, because this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. But after it repeated, it became the first position, because there's no number here, and now the first position repeated again. And then it repeated again as the second position number, right? So let's take a look over at the Positional Repeater Chart real quick. So here's the Positional Repeater Chart. Here is position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5, and here's your double repeater. The DR is double repeater, and 1R means minimum one number repeating. So this, it's not updated, but this is how I would update it. And you can see that almost one number is repeating in every single drawing currently, because the double repeater pattern will go, I'm not going to hit the back arrow. Let me copy, let me copy a 1 here, copy. So here's your flag. There's a flag formation in the particular variable where 2 numbers are repeating. Now you don't know which position is going to repeat. All right. So let me bring over one of these little red arrow jammies. Red. All right. So let me right click, copy, go back to the PRC again, Positional Repeater Chart. We'll paste it. Okay. So in this particular instance here, 2 numbers repeated. Now in this particular instance, it was the 5th position and the 4th position. Now, in my opinion, the best positions to repeat are the 1st, the 2nd, and the 5th. All right, let me bring that other guy over. The up and down guy. Right click, copy, PRC. I might have to take a break from this because my throat is kind of bothering me. Let's see. Okay, so here's your first position. And you can see it's not a classic flag, because after this 1, I would have looked for skip 5. But after the 9, you got the snapback. You got the hot skip. Now position 4, though, you can see is a classic flag. or not, I'm not classic, I mean pure flag. You have the 5, you have the 2, 2, 6. Here's the 6, 0 downstroke. After this 0, you would, according to the book, look for 5, but that's dangerous. See, that's one of the dangers in the book. Never look for skip 5 first. Never look for the flag. You look for the hot skip first. After the 0, 2 is equal to 0. So we have the 0, the 2, and then you're looking at the symmetry. 2 is equal to 1, is equal to 1, is equal to 1. And then, so technically, you would make a prediction and say, okay, the 4th position is going to repeat. And I put a little box there. And that's how I know. Actually, let me copy this because it's underneath there. I want it on top of it. It's easier to see when it's on top. Paste. So I'm looking now for the 4th position number to repeat. So what would be the 4th position number? It would be the 29. So there's your 29. Again, that's linked to the other chart. So then we look closer at the 29. This is now we're cross-referencing here. Now I look at the drawing since hit chart. I say, well, how does the 29 look on the drawing since hit chart? So we'll go back to the dish, the big dish, the big again being blue, yellow. Oh, that should be yellow. That shouldn't be green. Let me see here. Let me copy this guy here. Right click, copy, and then I'm going to Control V it here. So I make mistakes too. That's why I always say trust but verify. So here's 1, and then Control V, that's 2. Alright, so this is 1, this is 2, and we're in the 3rd dormant period. So looking at the 29, 29 already skipped. It's repeating a lot. Now, it's repeating after, let me bring the red thing over here for clarity. As my South African friend would say, for clarity. So here, we got 4, and then hot skip, flag, stretches out, snap back, 0, 0. So in this particular instance here, it repeated in the 4th position. Here, it repeats in the 5, 4, 3, 2, 2nd position. Alright, so the 29 is repeated in the 4th position over here, and in the 2nd position over here. And so let's go back to the PRC. Let me see, I'm losing track of what I'm trying to say. Okay. Alright, so can it repeat again? Certainly it could repeat again, you know. That would be a 1, 1, 1, 1 symmetry. Or, as Gail says, a 1, 1, 1, 1 bottom, right? Bottom means symmetry. Bottom is confusing, so I use the term symmetry. So the 5th number position repeated here, the 43, repeated, 5th position repeated, 5th position repeated, 5th position repeated, right? And then, okay, so getting back to, alright, that's what I was trying to say. Get back to the original strategy, right? If you know your 5th number, you do the 21 spread, and over here, you didn't get the, actually no, you didn't get the 21, you did get the 24, but the 21 is the first guide. So the 21, and I'm getting a little bit tired, I don't really feel like doing the math, but you can do the math and you can look and see where it would be. Alright, let's see. Well, we'll do simple math. 43 minus 20 is 23. Okay. Alright. I didn't do very good in math in school. I mean, I did good in math, but the day we did like the multiplication tables and stuff, or the subtraction, I asked my father to let me, I said, can I play home? Can I play sick and stay home from school? He's like, okay. So then from that day, I always had trouble with math. I couldn't do it in my head. Everyone else, they seemed to do it good. So I had to use my fingers, like an abacus. I have to, so, and it's kind of, I remember taking tests. I always felt like self-conscious, you know. I'm looking around. I don't see anybody else using their fingers. I'm like the only one using their fingers to count, you know. I mean, you can't watch everybody. Got to get back to the test. But I always used to, like, you know, clandestinely count on my fingers because I had trouble with subtraction and addition. Well, mostly subtraction, of course, but subtraction is the opposite of addition. So anyway, I digress. So back to the positional repeating charts. Okay. So 5th position repeating. If you were looking at a flag here, okay, so here's your 1 dormant period. So the same algorithm, the same big applies within the positional repeater chart. So there are flags within this variable, right? And you can see, but these are ugly flags. These are intermediate flags. Intermediate flags are much harder to predict than a classic flag here. And the reason is because the classic flag, or rather the pure flag, you know that your limit is 6. So here you have 5, 2, 6, 0, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then I would look for a 5 or a 6 over here. Once it stretches out to 7, 8, or 9, it becomes dangerous because you're cascading out. It might not hit at 7, it might not hit at 9, it might go all the way to 25, right? So that's why it becomes tricky, and that's why I don't like upstrokes. I prefer downstrokes. But you can see here that sometimes you have to go for an upstroke, but I prefer not to do it because it becomes a bad habit. It gets you chasing the upstroke within the flag formation. It gets you into the habit of chasing the exhaustion break. So it's one bad habit leads to the next bad habit, leads to the next bad habit, and then the next thing you know, you're in the poorhouse. You have no money. You gamble it all on lotto. You read the Lotto Master Guide. You thought you knew how to do it, but there was more to the story. So this is 1 dormant period, 2 dormant periods, 3 dormant periods. But all right. So but in my observation, okay, first, second, and fifth are the best. So you have 2 numbers double repeating here. So let's see, where do we have a first? Okay, so here you have the first and second number both repeated. Now, I've done the back test in New York, and I've seen that generally within a year, the first and number will always repeat together. Generally, because they have skipped a year. But you will have the first number repeating, you'll have the second number repeating. So you'll always have, but then again, if you're in 5 dormant periods where the first number is not repeating, right? You could have a low. It could be a low count year in that particular year. So you have to. And that's why you have to go back and you have to have a really good bird's eye view of what's happening. And that's why I like to use 720 drawings, because you have 2 years of what you're seeing. But you see this going back 2 years, and I'm gonna scroll up here just to show an example of different flag formations. Now, I didn't format this all the way to the top because it takes a lot of time to do this manually, but you can see I did do it going back a little bit. So I won't gonna scroll, but I'm gonna click. So I went back to here and I was looking to see the first dormant period. I was trying to count the dormant period, so I went back far enough so at least I could start counting from that point. But you can see here's a flag. Right? It's not colored in, but I can tell by the spacing. You can tell by the count of the cells. The cells here, you can see here if you look in this box here, I'll highlight the cells and you can see that it's 6. 6R means 6 rows. And over here, it's 3 rows. So I can just, by doing this so much, sometimes I don't have to color in. I can see there's a flag here. There's a flag. Here's a flag. The flag continues. And now here's your 1 dormant period. And then the 5th number repeated. And then you had a double repeat here. So here in this particular example, you had the first number repeating, first position number. So I say that a little bit kind of interchangeably, first number or first position. So I hope that doesn't confuse people. And this might go an hour, but I'll do it before because I don't want it to shut off on purpose on me. Because I think that's the time limit that I have set up, is an hour. So here's your first position and your fifth position number. And I have seen sometimes the first, second, and fifth number position is repeating. Now this will happen in every game. It'll happen in Mega Millions, it'll happen in Powerball, it happens in the Pick 3. But just to get the good bird's eye view, right, to see what's going on 2 years back, right, you'd have to print out a drawing sense hit chart. And that's why I suggested you do it so you know. But the ice pyramids will give you a bigger bird's eye view of what's happening. But I haven't really shared that chart yet because that is the real money chart, and I don't want to share it yet because I can't mass produce it yet. So I've been thinking about how to make a macro to do it, but I have to make a macro master sheet so that I can run the macro for any particular game. It might be a little bit longer in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to save a lot of time. And the only reason why those thoughts are coming to me is because I can't really play. So when you can't play, you're thinking more about strategy and charts to design and stuff like that. When you're playing, you're kind of like almost kind of in a frenzied panic mode. Get the numbers in on time, make sure you get all the charts. So right now, in this particular file, I only have 3 charts. I have this active, this big, and this PRC. In my other chart for Texas, I have 7 charts going. And I'm in live today. I got 5 lines in today. My benefactor in Texas, he's playing. Now, my benefactor in Texas is playing for me. We met in the Gail Howard Facebook group back in, I guess, 2010. And he actually taught me how to export the data out of Advantage Plus. Now, back then I was using Excel, but like I was saying, when you're playing, you're kind of in a frenzied panic. You know, you're not really thinking, as smart as you can. And after he taught me how, so I didn't think to use filters to create the skip charts and then to reorganize the data. And so he told me how to export the data out of Advantage Plus. And then when I exported the data of Advantage Plus, I created these charts, which I call the ICE pyramids. ICE being short for icicles and pyramids for pyramids. Now, you don't really need to put the pyramids in there, but the pyramids give a good visual aid. And if you look in Advantage Plus, I mean the new Advantage Gold, she has pyramid charts in there. So I'll have to do a separate video on those charts. And the pyramid charts are actually almost essential for Powerball and Mega Millions. If you don't have Excel, if you're not using Excel or any other program, it would be a good buy. But that's in the future. I have to call Joe. He didn't answer the last 2 emails, so I have to press him. But I'm not really in a panic to win. But I'm gonna win this year, so I'm gonna document it. So far I've played $12. I haven't won anything. But we're going live tonight. I got 5 lines and no power numbers, but I do have the 5th number position repeating, and I did use the Fibonacci spread, 35 minus 21, to try to find where my first number would be. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, so if we're going back in time, this is the drawing sensei chart, right? You would to go back 2 years. Well, I don't have the date here, but I think 2 years is from the beginning. So you would have to have all of this in here, right, to show what's going on as far as what's happening over a year. So that's why I made the other charts called the ICE pyramids. And the ICE pyramids, actually, you can apply any algorithm to it, but I think that I found there's one algorithm that's better than other algorithms. And anyway, I'm using the guide from the Lottery Master Guide to guide the algorithm to use the big to illustrate what's going on, so I don't have to scroll up. And the other thing is that I tried to print out the full. I would have printed out 720 drawings of the Texas Cash 5 as a drawing sensei chart and put it on the wall. And the one that I have is actually a hybrid. It's a hybrid drawing sensei chart with the 10-game group count plus the multiple of the 10-game group count. So there's a 10-game group count for the 2 complementary patterns, the ones hitting and the ones not hitting. And if you're not sure what I mean, you can look. I just made a video in A+ showing, trying to show, but I have to show it. I have to take a snipping and bring it here and show it, but that's, more. So I'm trying to just simplify on these particular charts. So the first, second, and fifth number repeating. So you have the first number and the fifth number repeating. So you have the 11 and the 43. 11 plus 20 is 21. So you didn't get anything within the Fibonacci spread there. But you have to compare. It's just a guide. So you have to say, all right, I don't like this. I prefer this number because it looks better, and you make your decision from there. So I'm cross-referencing these 2 charts, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I have Advantage Gold up on the other computer, but I have it on Texas. So let me hit, what is it? Number 1, is it? Yeah, number 1. Hit the N. North Carolina. Go to 543. Hit enter, and go to number 5. Now you can't see this, but you can do it yourself. And I'm looking for, oh shit, I didn't do the auto update in the North Carolina. Oh, but I still can move the bar to see the double hit ratio. So let's see. All right. So without going back to the other chart. So the 1 is in the first position, and you can see the first position number repeating. excuse me, is in a flag, albeit a very ugly intermediate flag, not a pure flag. You have 5-4 symmetry, 4-9 upstroke, 9-1 snapback, hot skip. The 4-9 stretches out and then it snaps back. You would technically look for 1-1 here, 1-2. You would look for 1-5. The flag fails. It stretches out to 1-9, right? Then the upstroke is very hard to play. You might play it because the 9 is symmetrical to the 9 here. There's a 9, there's symmetry in the 9, and the 9 is also supported by the symmetry of the 11 here. And this 9 is also supported by the symmetry of the 9 over here. So this is the symmetry she talks about in the book. The 11 will be the symmetry, or the support rather. 9-11 is symmetry, 11-9 is symmetry, 9-9 is symmetry. So now you have a hot skip. So I would look for, so now I'm looking for the 4th position number to repeat. And let's copy another one of these guys. And let's look for the first position number to repeat. And let me just show you how this chart works really quick, the way I showed you. So this is the first position, first position. Here, this is all first position. This is the data. Here's the picture, the data, the picture, the data, the picture, the data, picture, the data, picture, etc. So when I click on this little green box here, so this is the first position. When I click on this little green box, you're going to get a formula. This is the formula that I devised, came up with by watching Mr. Excel, Bill Jelen. It came up here, or I don't know, maybe I just did it. But I had been watching them to do my wheel and stuff. So here's the formula. So here it is. You're looking at the 1 in the blue box if C820, right? Oh, that's kind of funny. Anyway, if C820 is equal to C821, then 0, then 1, and then I format it, and then I mark it, and now I get the picture. So this is the first position. So over here, this formula, I'm looking like that. Second position. So that's how this works. It took me a while to make that. So if you got this far, that's a freebie for you guys. You can make this yourself in Excel. This is the Holy Grail chart, but the ice pyramids is the best interpretation. Now, I tried to print out my drawing sense hit chart. I printed out 2 pages, but I ran out of ink. So I ordered a cartridge from Amazon. It's supposed to be coming in from Friday. I also ordered 2 flash drives, 128 gigs each, and an SD card for my phone, because I'm going to put the charts up on the wall in the other room, and I'll record and I'll show you how I'm cross-referencing the ice pyramids with the drawing sense hit chart, TG, the 10 game group count hybrid, and everything else. So that's coming up, but that's not until maybe next week, because tomorrow's warm, and one of the reasons why haven't been doing a lot of videos is because I've been giving too much attention to the wrong Brandy. Now tomorrow, being that it's warm, I'm going to go out. It takes me about half an hour to get to the store, 40 minutes to get back by bicycle, and I'll probably be giving my attention to the wrong Brandy again. So I'll probably won't be recuperated until Monday, and hopefully I don't burn down the house. But we'll see what happens. But unfortunately, I've already made up my mind to do that negative behavior. Unless it snows, then I'll be saved. But I don't think it's going to snow. And I need food. I'm running out of food, so I got to go to the store anyway. So, I digress. So where was I? Oh, okay. So how are we going to make this work for tonight's drawing? So let me X this out. I don't want to make any mistakes. And I'm getting close down to the hour wire. So, our first number is going to repeat. We're going to assume, since the first position repeating is in a flag. Now, when I was chasing my jackpot, it didn't matter if it was a flag or not. I always played the first position, second position, first position, second position, first position, always to repeat. And when I saw the second position repeating, I saw it, and I don't know if I was drinking that day or what I was doing, or I just procrastinated, and at the end, I just said, I'm not going to go play today. And that was it. And the rest is history. But if I had hit that jackpot, I wouldn't be here telling this video. I would have nothing to teach. I would have won my money. I would have accomplished my goal. I would have left the country. I would have been gone. You'd never see me again. I would have gone back to paradise. So my journey to paradise has been a little bit longer, but again, I digress. So let's see. First number repeating is the 1. And 1 dormant period, 2 dormant periods, 3 dormant periods. Fibonacci, 1 plus 21, or actually is 22? Right. Is that but 23? Is it 23 minus 1? Right. Okay, so I'm sorry, my math is getting a little confused. Anyway, 23 minus 1 is 22. So the number you look at is a 23. So 23 is here as an upstroke. So I would say, okay, 23 is kind of interesting. So here's your first number, here's your last number. I also mentioned the 25, right? The 25 is interesting, it's a hot stroke. This also is interesting. 4, 6, 2, it's a downstroke. It's interesting. 13 is an upstroke. This is an upstroke. I have a gray arrow here because I'm looking for the 4th hit in the streak. So 1, 0, 4. It's also adjacent. So I'm looking at my limit here would be 28. 28 minus 1 is 27. See, you have a 27 here, you have a 27 here, you have a 27 here, 27 here. So 27 could be in a flag too. I could feasibly highlight the 27 and then make a drawing sense hit chart for spread 27. And maybe I'll do that later. But it comes more work, and you have to prioritize your patterns and what you're going to look for. So let's say, all right, so let's say we'll put the 25 over here. All right, so let me copy another box. So now you have your first number and your last number, your first position number and your 5th position number. Potentially 5th position number. It's more of a 4 position number trap. So now I would look for symmetry over here. And here's some symmetry, some quick obvious symmetry that didn't take me long to notice. Is here. The 11 here had a flag. You can see that it extended here into an intermediate skip here in 8. You had your snapback. You had a 1-1 symmetry, and then you had your 1-6 upper classic flag. Because 2-5 is going to be the classic flag that I'm going to say. When I say classic flag, I mean 2-5, as it is in the Lottery Master Guide. Or 0, 0, 1, 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5 are all classic. 2-6 would be upper classic, 2-4 would be lower classic, but 2-4 is also a bottom. 2-4 is also upper symmetry. Okay, anyway. So 2, 0, 0, 2. So that's interesting. And then what else? What else? I don't know. I already gave you like 3, 4 numbers. You can look for long symmetry. You can look for what I call gold symmetry. I used to have a saying called gold before cold because I made that because I had gotten into the bad habit of chasing the exhaustion breaks. So we're at 58 minutes in this video, so I'm about to stop it. So let's wind down. And we'll see how it goes. I'll comment on your comments, and I'll let you know that this video is being uploaded as an hour-long video. It might take a long time, so I'll probably tell you the numbers that I like for tonight's drawing in the comment as well. And basically, that's how I use the positions to repeat. So just real quick, any questions, comments in the bottom? My email is amargh, Gail Howard, Lotto at gmail.com. So that's amarghlotto at gmail.com. Any questions? I'll put it in the comment anyway, because maybe you won't get this far in the video. A lot of people will probably fart out, fits out, fizz out. And so using the same strategy. Now that's the first position repeating. So if the second position repeats from the 7, we'll add 20. That's 27. 28 would be Fibonacci. So there you go. You're still in that same spread. So you could use the 1 as your first position number from 1 to 28. 1 is your first number in your combination. So this is a way of filtering. So I filter out. Oh, and that was the last thing I wanted to get at. You can see the groups. This is part of my 10-game group analysis. I mark here the numbers not appearing. So you can see that the numbers in the middle go into a hot and hitting. This is a dormant period. This is about 12. Then you had 1, 1, and then another dormant period, and now you had a 3. So there might not be any numbers in the middle. So you might have like a 7, and then a 28, and then you might have some things that come in here because this has been hitting. But that's gonna have to be for another video. I'll record it. Good luck, everybody. Happy number hunting.